Hi, ESOL 1. I hope everyone is doing well. I wanted to do kind of like a video to give you an overall idea of what we have been going over and what we're about to go over. So you have been doing background information. We have the PowerPoint that you went over, and there was also the clever assignment that gave a little bit of information about the language that you're going to be seeing in this novel. I will have posted the PDFs for the book that we are going to be reading out of. We are reading No Fear Shakespeare, and we typically read the modern version of the play because this is an ESOL class. The Elizabethan English that you see within the play is a little bit more difficult to understand, and especially for my students who are learning how to speak English. We do talk about the language, but we mostly focus on the modern day English of it so that we can understand what the play is talking about. So what I'm actually going to do today is I'm going to get into Act 1, Scene 1, because that is what I want to finish this week. And next week we will finish Act 1, and then each week we'll get another act, and that will take us into the second week of May when we'll actually finish the play. And who knows if we'll be in school or not. I have no idea. So if you look at your PDF, everything has page numbers on the bottom of it. So the page that I'm first looking at is page 2. The prologue, I'm going to read it to you. It says, 2 households, both alike in dignity, in fair Verona where we lay our scene, from ancient grudge break to new mutiny, where civil blood makes civil hands unclean. From forth the fatal loins of these 2 foes, a pair of star-crossed lovers take their life, whose misadventures, piteous overthrows, doth with their death bury their parents' strife. The fearful passage of their death-marked love, and the continuance of their parents' rage, which but their children's end not could remove, is now the 2 hours' traffic of our stage, the which, if you with patient ears attend, what here shall miss, our toil shall strive to mend. So the prologue of this is basically giving you the outline of what the play is going to be about. It starts talking about how there's 2 households and they're both wealthy and they do not like each other. They hate each other. And basically, they are continuously fighting each other. And there are 2 lovers that come from these 2 families and they fall in love. And it tells you that these 2 people, so the girl and the boy, they're going to die. It tells us that. But we don't know exactly how all of the events are going to unfold. And the last lines, or the last 3 lines, is now the 2 hours traffic of our stage, the which if you with patient ears attend, what here shall miss, our toil shall strive to mend. So they're basically saying that the, excuse me, the play is going to last 2 hours, and you're basically going to find out what happens to these 2 lovers throughout the play. So while you're listening to this video, you should have your questions out, and you can do these questions on Edsby on our assignment, or you can print them out and write in the answers, and then you can send me a picture. So as we're going through, when you're looking at the PDF, I just read to you the Elizabethan English portion, but the side that you're always going to want to read is the right-hand side. Hopefully this is not flipped because I'm like using my phone to video this. Okay, so as we go through, it starts, so the play opens with servants of the Capulet family, and they are talking about how much they hate the Montague family. And so that is how big this feud is. Even the servants hate each other. And Gregory and Samson are the ones who are talking. And they're actually quite humorous because they're talking about each other's swords, and they're not talking about swords. They're talking about other stuff. So they're mentioning it as the male member, basically, which this is way more fun in the classroom. Doing this as a video is not. All right, so they are continuously talking about how much they do not like the members of the Montagues. And I want you to read this, but this video is supposed to help you understand what's going on. Now, a member of the Montague house walks up towards them. His name is Abram. And so they decide, the members of the Capulet house decide to bite their thumb at Abram. And this is basically like flicking him the bird. And so Abram says, "Are you biting your thumb at us?" And Samson is like not the smart one. And he says, "I'm biting my thumb, but just in your general." It'd be like if I was just flicking off whoever and not exactly at you, but I just happened to flick you off. And so basically they are starting a fight with each other. And so the servants are fighting, and then Benvolio comes up. And he is trying to break up the fight because Benvolio is fabulous. And he is not a fighter, and he tries to help people, and he doesn't try to start any fights. But Tybalt comes up, who is a part of the Capulet household, and Tybalt loves to fight. He's ready to go. And so he basically calls Benvolio a wimp because Benvolio didn't want to fight him. So everyone has basically at this point broken out in fighting, and it's basically like a huge fight going on. And so then the heads of the households come up, and Capulet says, "What is this noise? Give me my longsword, come on." And his wife says, a crutch, you need a crutch. So she's basically calling him old and saying, "You don't need a sword, you need a crutch. Like, stop playing around." And then the head of the Montague house comes in, and he also is ready to fight as well. So basically, everyone broke out in a fight. Then the prince comes up, and the prince is not on either side. He's not on the Capulet, he's not on the Montague side. And he tells them to stop all the fighting, and he says that if anyone else is going to fight, that they will be put to the death. So he's making this proclamation to Verona, which is where the story is set. And hint, hint, that will be a question on a quiz. He's basically telling them, look, if you fight anymore, you are going to be put to death. Then, after everyone clears, Montague, who's the head of the household, is talking to Benvolio, the character that we saw before, who's a really nice guy. And he asks him if he has seen Romeo. And Benvolio is basically saying, no, I haven't. And Montague is concerned because Romeo is Montague's son. And he's basically saying that he's been really sad lately, and all he does is he stays in his room, and he doesn't really come out, and he just seems really depressed. And so Benvolio is like, yeah, I'll talk to him. And then he sees him, and he's like, oh, let me go talk to him. But he kind of leaves Montague in the dust to go talk to Romeo, because do you really want to talk to your parents when you're upset about things? I mean, you should. But normally, kids don't really want to talk to their parents when they're upset. So Benvolio goes on to talk to Romeo. Now, when Benvolio catches up with Romeo, and they're actually cousins, so they're in the same, they're friends, but they're in the same family as well because they're cousins. Romeo is basically very sad, and Benvolio is asking him, are you in love? And Romeo's like, out. And so he's basically upset because there's a girl who he's in love with, but she doesn't want to be with him. And that is why he is so upset. And they basically, I want you to continue reading it, but I don't want to give you all the information. That is basically how Act 1, Scene 1 ends. So, if you have any questions, please reach out to me. I have a Google Voice number, so you can text me. My number is 407-852-8421, and that really is the best way to get to me, so that I can help you with any of your questions. So yeah, all right, thank you so much. Bye guys.